Well, today, California formalized its plan to ban the sale of gasoline-powered cars by 2035 in a move that Governor Gavin Newsom described as the beginning of the end for the internal combustion engine. Yikes. Well, here's Newsom yesterday bragging about being the first jurisdiction in the world to do so.
2 years ago, we took a risk. We came out front. I did an executive order saying in 2035, California was going to lead the way on alternative fuel vehicles. Tomorrow, the California Air Resources Board is going to codify that. We will be the first jurisdiction in the world to require all new cars to be sold to be alternative fuel cars.
And other states are expected to follow suit, since over a dozen other states typically follow California's lead when setting their own auto emission standards. So what will these new regulations mean for consumers, specifically in California and these other states? Here to weigh in is our company founder and executive director of Power the Future, Daniel Turner, and former Trump EPA transition team member and founder of JunkScience.com, Steve Milloy. Gentlemen, welcome to the show. Daniel, I'll start with you. So is this realistic to have, so Newsom is saying by 2035 that 100% of cars in California will need to be electric vehicles?
It's not realistic on multiple levels, not just in terms of the market. We don't make enough electric vehicles for all of California, let alone the rest of the world, right? We just don't manufacture them. There's not the electric grid capability in California to power all of these vehicles. But most of all, I think what's most troubling is this: how great are our electric vehicles if you have to use government power to ban its competition, right? We've never really advanced as a species, as a country, or as a free market by using the power of government to ban certain products. So not only is this going to make is going to have terrible market signals, but actually this type of order is actually bad for the electric vehicle industry, because only in competing with the combustion engine is the product made better. And right now, it's not actually a very good product. It's expensive and it's not reliable.
Steve, some are calling the legality of this into question, saying that Governor Newsom actually doesn't have the authority to do this, to set his own pollution rules for the state. Is that accurate?
Well, the real danger, I don't really care what Newsom does in California. The problem is what he's going to do for the nation. And he's using a loophole that the Biden EPA has granted him to essentially force the rest of the nation to develop an EV mandate, because car makers can't make California cars and cars for the rest of the country, or cars for blue states and cars for red states. They're all going to go to one type of car. It's going to be dictated by California. I've got to say that, overlooked in this whole discussion is the fact that, EV mandates are really taxes on extra taxes on new cars. The average cost of a gasoline-powered car is $48,000. Today, the average cost of an EV is $66,000. That's about a 40% difference. That's a 40% tax on new cars that we're going to have in a state that is already electricity blackout prone. So how much sense does it make to put additional demand on a grid that is already stressed because of climate idiocy and the dismantling of the fossil fuel stations that power the grid? None of this is going to change any of the weather. This is disastrous policy. Newsom is just burnishing his green credentials for his 2024 run.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see how Californians react to this. I'm sure some of them will love it. I do want to get to this, though, because after approval of the Democrats' massive climate spending bill last week, reports are now out that in order to help push mineral supply chains out of China, the administration is now looking to import rare earth minerals from Canada to build, guess what, our renewable energy technologies that we need these from, specifically lithium for batteries. Daniel, why is the U.S. so opposed to giving this to U.S. companies?
Yeah, it's really remarkable. The same people that are pushing us towards wind and solar and electric vehicles are the same ones that are preventing us from mining these rare earth elements, these metals, these minerals here in America. And right now we are outsourcing them. Most of them are from third world countries that are controlled by China. and that use a lot of them, the majority of them use slave labor, quite frankly, especially in sub-Saharan Africa. And so it shows how the green movement really is nothing about the environment. It's nothing about making the planet a better place. It's much more pernicious about control and about institutionalizing really a Marxist vision. We have, if we were going to go green in the philosophical sense as Biden wants, we have in America all of the metals, the minerals, the rare earths. We have all the mining capabilities here to do it, but we're prevented from doing it here. So is it better to get it from Canada than the Congo? I guess, but really it's best to get it in America, but that's never going to happen.
You know, China still actually processes a lot of these minerals. So, Steve, I only have 30 seconds, but is it right that we'd have to process these in China and then send them back to the U.S.? I mean, again, they should be empowering U.S. companies to do this. 30 seconds.
Yeah, if we produce them here or if we got the minerals from Canada, they still have to go to China to be processed and sent back. This makes absolutely no sense. You know, these mandates have not been thought out. No one has thought out how it's actually going to work. The environmentalists will block all the mining and all the processing in Canada and the U.S. You know, I'm not quite sure what Biden's trying to accomplish, but he's not going to be doing anything to make EVs more affordable.
He said that Canada is a domestic region for us. Last time I checked, it's not the United States. Daniel Turner, Steve Milloy, thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
All right. Well, tonight on Newsmax, the record details the horrors carried out by Russian forces in Ukraine as Greta speaks with Ukrainians on the ground in the war-torn country. But first, tomorrow marks 1 year since 13 American service members were killed in Afghanistan. Army combat veteran Brian Mast is going to join us after the break.